Welcome back, everyone, to the LCS Challengers League. I'm Mazel, joined by Desrex and Beatdown Boulevard yet again, and we're getting ready for our Rally Cry halftime show. But before we do need to break down that first game, specifically a lot of the good and the bad that we saw from both sides, but the tussle, the banger that we had, Desrex.
Yeah, this one was an absolute banger. I mean, AOE took over the early game. Then what happens? DSG start to bring it back. It looks like it's dead to rights for DSG, but some of this phenomenal poke coming out from Lynx, as well as Breezy's engages, bring it back to where we think AOE might have it, but one team fight is all it took from an unchecked Meech to close this out.
Double marksman comms, man. It's the live or die nature beat.
It really is, and a lot of times, AOE, they had this game in their hands in the early game. Will did a really good job on getting Lynx ahead. He, what was it, 3-0 by 6 or 7 minutes? And he still managed to get ahead despite the 2 turrets taken topside where Meech was present. The problem ended up being some very unfortunate fights taken for AOE. DSG, actually, Meech especially, like you called out, when you're not getting on top of him in these team fights in this comp, he's the problem here. So he is the one who is able to out DPS in the end, and it especially showed in that last team fight.
I love it because we lauded and talked so much about the trio that won the last split with Cloud9, and I really loved the addition of Young and Meech, two of our highest mechanical skilled players in our league. And to see Meech step up like that in the big moments in a game that was do or die, it felt like, with how tension filled it was.
Yeah.
It was incredible, and the step up and the Aphelios is looking darn good. So that was our first game of the series. I'm hoping the game number 2 delivers as well, but now we're going to center in on some fun, or at least I'm about to have fun with my 2 analysts here. As our Rally Cry halftime show is going to go ahead and kick off. I've got a game called 3 Little Words. I've picked out some clips with our production crew, and we're going to go ahead and bring up clips, and I'm going to have you guys describe what is going to happen in said clip ahead of time in 3 words. We're going to look at the clip. We're going to see if you were close or far, and we're going to make fun of you or applaud you either way.
So that was a 41-minute game, man. That's a lot to really clip there.
There's a lot of clips. There are a lot of clips. So let's go ahead and kick off 3 Little Words here, as I want to go ahead and bring up our first clip. It's going to be freeze framed. This one, I'm going to give to you, Beatdown. I know I got to give Desrex a moment at least of reprieve. So hopefully we'll be bringing this one up. It should be freeze framed. We'll look at the initial setup here. And Beatdown, you're going to have to tell me exactly what you think's going to happen, but only in 3 words.
Will Big Gank.
All right, Will Big Gank. Let's go ahead and play the clip. We'll see if you are even close, which, you might be a little close. I'd say maybe open your repertoire of words a little bit.
Will Big Pillar.
Big pillar. That using different words there. For me, in this, you know who I thought you were gonna focus on?
Who?
That man Lynx, dude.
True.
Yes, the gank was there, but Lynx stayed true in it all.
He did.
Saying, looking good. But I like your 3 little words. I'll
step it up for the next time. I'll start digging into the dictionary.
Now that we see his 3 little words, Desrex, do you have 3 better words?
I already said Will Big Pillar. Will Enormous Pillar.
Oh my God!
There you go.
How many letters, numbers, points, or whatever is that worth on Scrabble? Let me find out and let him know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Let's go ahead and bring it up to the next clip here, as we'll be getting to clip 2. I do want you, Desrex, to get yourself ready to go, because you've got to figure out what is going to happen in this crazy clip, but only in 3 words, which itself is going to be a little bit difficult. But you're a play-by-play, so I expect more of you. You are also the GOAT. So this second play here, go ahead and tell me what your 3 little words are.
What was this one? Okay. Let me do a deeper investigation here.
Do I need to put a buzzer in and then be like, yo, you can steal it?
Oh, man. Yeah, I think I'm going to get stolen from, because I can't figure out. Okay, wait. This was more towards the mid game.
Have fun with it.
This was when DSG were winning out. Dang it, I'm not sure what happened in this play.
Beat down, you got 3 little words?
I'm trying to think of how a lot happens here. What do I want to attribute it to?
I think this is when they tried to engage on Meech and then he flashed back.
You know what?
Yeah, that's when it was.
All right, 3 words then. What do you
words,
got? Yeah, that was way too long to explain what happened. You need 3 words.
3 words is hard.
3 words is hard.
Okay, I
got it. No, get wrecked.
Is there a comma in there?
Yeah, there's a comma in there.
All right, let's play the clip here. Let's see it.
That's way better.
Get wrecked is gonna be the worst that describes this. I was not expecting that. And also, I gotta count commas now.
Oh, maybe.
Ooh. So, would you say that no, get wrecked is gonna be a nice little turnaround here?
As long if you include the first half of that clip where they tried to engage on Meech and burn the splash, that's the no.
The first
the
half
rest
that
of it is the
wasn't
get
there,
wrecked.
huh? The first half that wasn't in there. Crazy how that works.
I said it as I let in. I said it as I let in.
Anyways, let's go
I'm moving
ahead
in with
and
you in
bring up our
2 weeks,
first
brother. I want you to know that.
I got bottles of Coke here for you. Don't worry. Anyways, it was a little bit of something. As you said, it's a little bit of a longer play before this one, but it was a fun one. I always love teasing the brain of my analysts. Now, we will go ahead and bring up our 3rd clip. We got to kind of pick this one up. So
hurry up, B. Go faster, man. What's up?
Yeah, we'll see if you guys can do it. As our 3rd clip itself, I feel like was a very interesting one to me because it was one where I had to go back and delete one of my other clips. I was like, that one's better. So I'm really excited for you guys to try to pick this one apart and see which one is going to come and beat down. I'm going to have you dissect this one. So look at this. Give me a quick frame. I'm going to give you 5 seconds. You got 3 words.
Okay,
Come on, man.
in and out.
In and out. All right, let's go ahead and play the clip and see if in and out is going to be the case. And
Our hamburgers are all
honestly,
about.
I think you hit the nail on the head with this one. It was AOE. We're able to get this Baron under the nose of Disguised. They made it out, but you know,
I may have lied.
you didn't have enough words to finish your story.
Yeah, you're right. Thank you.
Okay, let me one up them. In,
All right.
kinda out.
Oh,
There you go.
That's good.
Another comma, kind of. I like it. It's just, it was an interesting position for AOE. It was a moment where it really actually gave them a lot of fight back into the game, which for me was an important moment. Like, I was not expecting this whatsoever when I saw this in the game. It was actually really nice to see. But Disguised are still Disguised, and they'll try to punish you where they can. So we'll go ahead and move on to our next clip. But this one was definitely one that I appreciated from AOE because it actually gave us a nice little fight back in the series itself.
Oh, yeah.
And our next one,
Got 30 minutes on the clock.
chopping block here, as we're gonna
pressure.
see. Yeah, no pressure
You'll be
whatsoever.
fine.
No pressure.
Okay.
Don't worry
Let me take
about
a
it.
close
Don't worry
look.
Why are
right
you
here.
stressing, Eric?
All right, I'm gonna give you 5 seconds. 3 little words to describe what's going on in this play.
Hold on, let me take a closer look. Okay. Can I get 5 minutes, please?
Nope. About to send it over to Beatdown.
Get countered, chump.
Get countered
Ooh.
chump. All right, let's go ahead and play the clip. Let's see if get countered chump is gonna be the name of the game here. As you know, I love it because 3 words is so difficult to tell.
Yeah.
a story,
It's so hard.
Did you get some good
And
ones?
especially with how long some of these clips are. It's like there's no way. 3 words, which makes it even funnier. But
Yeah.
anyways, in the end, get countered chump. I feel like might have been
Right
the nail on the head there.
It's right here. Come on, Breezy, do it. Get countered, chump.
And it was the absolute most insane turnaround of a game. Even though DSG ended up winning, this was where the double marksman comp truly came alive. It was really nice to see. Now, unfortunately, we took a little bit too long, and we didn't get to our last
Come on,
clip here,
Eric.
so we're going to have to close it out there. But that was 3 little words and a very fun halftime show. Thank you guys for humoring me. And it was a lot of fun. But now we got to talk about DSG and AOE beatdown. Before we get into draft, quick thoughts and quick comebacks for AOE in game 2.
Well, it's going to be tough because I don't think they had any real draft issues there. The problem ends up being in some of the fights and the positions they choose to take, which gave them, even though they were able to claw their way back to an even game state in a way, that's, you shouldn't have to be there in the first place, is my point.
Well, I guess we'll find out if any answers do come as we are getting to our second game of our second series. So let's go ahead and see what happens, guys.
Don't mind me, Beat. I'm just the halftime champion,
You're not.
Always taking the dubs.
You didn't even finish.
Way it works, By
What?
default, I win because I'm on the left side. I'm on the play-by-play, so.
Are you? I thought you were on the right side.
I'm the left. You
But
made
I
me
made
think
you-
for a second.
But I had you shook. That's what matters.
Okay. You get a courtesy point. I'll let you have that.
All right. Now we're looking back at what is going on here for game 2. One thing I also meant to add: take away Aphelios from Beach. Maybe he shouldn't have that champion. Just, another thing.
Maybe.
Just thrown out there. Maybe. But now we have 5 swaps also. So we're gonna see what AOE want to do now that they've chosen to be on the red side.
Do you feel like the draft was an issue for either team in this case? Because I felt like it really did all come down to execution.
Yeah.
And it did show the caliber of team AOE can be, especially when fighting from behind. It takes a lot to pull off some of the plays like Breezy and Lynx were able to. And the last clip that we saw, the get countered jump.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So I think to answer your question, so a way I can kind of summarize it is that when I see, so I've been doing Challengers League since spring now, and from then until today, I've only ever seen 2 games where I thought, wow, a team actually hard won draft. Just to give you an idea, because I really think a lot of the times it just comes down to how you play on the Rift. Even in like incredible draft gaps, you can still lose. So, and especially in that last game, I really thought both teams had clear ways they want to play the game. Both were executing their AOE, though I will say I felt had control of the pace, and they were the ones who stumbled in a game that they very well could have won. So this time around, probably kicking yourself for that as AOE, but they have another chance to tie the series.
I do love the bans coming out from DSG. They not only ban away the Ziggs, they ban away the Tristana as well.
Good.
It's something AOE were playing yesterday. Even the AOE social guy was hype on it. He was bringing up one of the notifications onto the
that's
stream
right.
itself.
I remember.
Where he was like, "Oh, Ziggs Tristana, easy
It's
win."
over. GG.
DSG, not gonna allow that.
Yeah, no, and it's a good point because AOE, I said it when we saw the Trist come through on B1 for AOE in game 1, and it's that Dark Wings. He seems to struggle a bit more when he's not playing on the Tristana. Clearly his best champion at the moment on this patch, so now Dark Wings has to go another route. He can definitely play a lot of different champions, mages, Zir, things like that. Can also play the Zed, as we saw yesterday, but it didn't end up working his way. So there is a bit of pressure on him to be able to play on something else.
Sorry, I was trying to curl my mustache for a second there.
I saw you trying to be a villain? What are we talking about here?
I don't know. I saw a little curl on it, and for some reason I just wanted to commit to
You're
it.
like, oh, I got a match.
Yeah, so the Lovers duo locked in for AoE will give a very, very strong lane for Lynx and Breezy to really start off with. Even regardless of what DSG really go for here, it's kind of inherent in having both of these as a duo. And it's great to have it on Breezy, because remember, we keep popping up as that primary engager coming out for AoE.
Right, and we're looking at on DSG's side, again, early Renekton here for Fake God, early solo laters in general. We know the Jace Mount Kai pairs together really well. Fake God very happy to take this blind matchup, but we are starting to see examples of ways you can actually punish that as AoE. We talk about concept, and as a wacky champion pool, I do wonder if Rumble is on that list, because it has been a very good answer since his change on this patch we're on right now, 13-12.
I really like this draft coming out for AoE so far, because this is more classic to some of the playstyles that we've seen from these players in the past. Even Will, everyone's guilty for Wukong abuse at some point or another. But Will being on this means that we get that duo that we were hyping up in the pregame itself, which is where Will and Breezy can do the engage duties as a pair.
Yeah, and we're seeing now as we get to that second rotation bans, the Aphelios, we agree, taking that one away here from Meech. The Ahri there, removing options from Dark Wings is very important in my opinion, and it's also important to note too that, again, you're limiting his options, you're limiting these really strong pairings, and what are AoE going to be able to do in response to that?
The bans coming in, gonna finish out Ahri, Ornn, Helios, Renata, all taken off the map.
Yeah.
AoE. understanding the impact that Meech and Zeyzal were able to have in that last game, but what do they want to draft for their solo lanes now as they start to set that up? It seems like they're going to save the counter pick for the mid lane as Malphite gets locked in for concept.
This is
That's a pretty concept champion.
Yeah, and this is pretty good too because there was a good chance that Meech could have gone for something like the Ezreal. It's good into Xayah. So far, it's good into everything we could see coming through there from AOE, but the Malphite very likely dissuades a pick like that away. Something mobile is what I'm looking for there for Meech. Unless they just end up going for the Kog'Maw Braum, which is something that comes through. But instead, it is just going to be Kai'Sa. Meech having a little fun with us in Champ Select as he locks it in.
And I do like the Kai'Sa because even if you get jumped on, Killer Instinct, you typically see it as a tool to get into the backline. It's also a repositioning tool if you see AoE going for plays that are engaging onto their backline over for DSG. So it's an excellent tool to have. And now you're adding even more to it by having more disengage ability with Amelia.
So that's an interesting one. It is a good way to deal with the Rakan. That Ultra Mega Fire Kick can actually knock away the Wukong as well when he's trying to dash into you and things like that. It's not the juicer lane pairing, as some people would call it, but that extra range does make it so that you'll be able to trade a little bit better into a champion like Xayah who does outrange you. And AoE, they want to round out the comp with the Azir there for Dark Wings. They get some magic damage under their belt. They get the ability to maybe try and contest for that mid push. And you get a lot of playmaking tools as well with that Emperor's Divide.
And both of your carries for this composition for AoE have their own disengage to work with right here, on top of having just one of the meatiest front lines of engagers that you could possibly ask for. The DPS is also phenomenal onto their squad for taking down tanks like the Maokai. I do feel a little bit weird about DSG's draft, though, at least in the grand picture of everything. I don't exactly know how these champions do click together.
So, it does look a little funny. The thing that stands out to me is the Kai'Sa Milio, because you don't see that a lot.
Yeah.
But I think Kai'Sa is fine, especially because this is a game where I can see Meech going the AP build coming through here. You've got a lot of poke with the evolved Void Seeker, and you also have the Jace to pair it with. But also, you still do a lot of damage. You have ways to disengage, Eric, but DSG have a lot of ways to move forward as well. And I think this comp is actually rather flexible in what they want to do. And the fact that they're able to move backwards is really important against what AoE have here. Wukong, Malphite, Rakan. So many tools to try to get into DSG's backline and get a ball up in their business.
All right, second game of our second series of the day. AoE Gold taking on DSG. Type in Twitch chat who you want to take the dub. AoE for AoE Gold, DSG for Disguised. As it is right now, if you're just tuning in, game number one was a slugfest, man. Both of these teams brought the heavy hands, went to 41 minutes. Disguised taking game number one. And right now, starting up the cheeky shenanigans for game number two, the chase onto Will.
Yeah, pretty good read. Honestly, from DSG, they chunk him out. Jungle privilege means he probably doesn't have to back, but you get that early ward, you get that information. Will, again, finds himself in a position where he's going to be able to have a lot of impact in this early game. We talk about him as this player for AoE, and when he played in teams past, like Dig Academy, I believe 100 Thieves Academy as well, was a player who was very aggressive in the early game plays that he would make in the past, and him returning now on this team that is something we are looking for from this player. And when he gets it done, when he props up his teammates, like he has talked about wanting to do, AoE look good.
That was a pretty hype squad as well. That was Busio's team. I think Will was on, right?
Yeah, I believe that was the same time. Yeah, Will being that summer child that we talked about, always only playing in the summer because in the spring, he's in high school. You know, respect. Parents want him to have that education, and an education is important, right, Eric?
You got to get that hustle in. You got to make sure you make that paper and get that paper that makes that paper.
Yes.
Exactly. Oh,
right yeah, I see what you did there. Well played.
Yeah. So far, the summer child is having a good week number 4. I even think his play was, you know, acceptable for what we had in that game number 1 with his decision making to go for that bottom lane and keep cutting them off. Does seem like there's going to be a lot of priority for this bottom lane once again as AOE do get a shove going.
That's right. Everywhere except the top lane, really, where Fake God. Malphite is going to be tough to deal with later on as he gets points into that W, as he builds armor. But DSG, they still have this topside prio that they can play with here. Fake God being that exceptional laner here in Challengers League. The best top laner we have right now. Bar none in summer. So he's going to be that point of prio for Disguise like he always is. And it means that once more, DSG, when it comes Rift Herald time, could be that way for them to pick up some extra gold. Snowball this to a win.
And on that topic, you know, a lot of people do look at the tier 2 scene of League of Legends in North America. And when they see players like Fake God and stuff, they start to get a little antsy about it. At the end of the day, you know, a lot of these players who have played in LCS before, they still need a place to establish themselves, to show how good they really are. And that's what Fake God's been doing. He's following in the footsteps of players like Dokla. And now he's going to be set up by Tomio, who flashes right over this wall to go after the big man Concept. Ooh, do they got enough damage to do it? No! Concept will survive.
Wow. So it's good on Concept. He has to blow the flash, but he walks away from that. Tomio tried to avoid a very common ward that we see top laners use with the flash. Doesn't actually end up getting much for it besides Concept. So doesn't work out perfectly, but I really do like the look from Tomio. Yeah. And Disguised, again, early game, they do have a lot of options in terms of how they want to play team fights, but that lead is really important for them because when you have a comp that primarily wants to utilize some poke, wants to play from far away, you got to get to objectives first. How do you get there first, Eric? You get leads in the early game.
Will, for a second there, doubled back to... It looked like he wanted to take something with Fake God, but it might have been to just try and hover over around this lane in case Tomio was to come back. But Tomio already in that bot lane, not bot lane, bottom camp, to try and clear out his golems. At the same time that we have Will doing the same thing. Breezy now coming out of lane. You always got to keep a close eye and tab on Breezy. Rakan is great for catching anyone out. Only level 3 at the given moment, but off of this hover, will go over towards the mid lane to get some vision, try and spot out potentially where he might see. And yeah, he actually did spot out that scry, so he knows Tomio's in that quadrant.
Right, so it does mean Concept doesn't have to worry about getting dove, getting attacked again on that top side. And everyone's just going to go back to farming. You're seeing some people look for recalls here as they start buying some of these components, getting some stats in their pockets. And my eyes are set on this first Drake. You can see, even though Zeyzal is playing something like the Milio, which is usually good for getting you push, it hasn't been as hard winning because it's laning with the Kai'Sa. In fact, wave is being stacked up.
Ooh, Meech just out of range. Does not get knocked up by Breezy. Will is clearing out his bottom camps at the moment. He will have a respawn on his red buff pretty soon, so he's trying to be quick about this dragon, utilizing that priority established by Lynx and Breezy in the bottom lane to grab this first Drake.
Wow, interesting. So Tomio, he has back. Instead of going for the Gromp respawn, he's actually going to, instead of answer the dragon, he wanted to try and make a pick on the Darkwings. But Darkwings, he's warded up. So there isn't really an option. And with Lynx and Breezy moving up, this should be an easy Drake for AoE.
Should be. Tomio's still headed in that direction. Trying to hold the line is the rest of AoE, but I don't think it's that easy after all, Will. There's a lot of threat coming through for Will. Mistral gets fired. Both bot laners swinging at each other, but no one really committing to the fight. Or Disguised, it was just enough to get Will right off that dragon.
Still, Lynx and Breezy, a really nice look there, using lack of vision in the brush to get Meech's flash out. Something Will could look to punish in these coming minutes here, especially with how close he is to level 6, having access to that Cyclone. Even better, Rift Herald is coming up soon. If Meech does rotate up to that top side, he will be down a crucial summoner.
Still pings coming out into the jungle of DSG. Idea of where Tomio's going, catching that pathing of the Maokai is really important given the fact that it is point and click CC that you can utilize at any given time. Level 6 soon for Tomio as well, so we'll have that ultimate on top of it. Same thing for Will. And I think that's where we should expect to see a fight going to break out potentially around one of the neutrals.
Right. Soon, both Herald and Dragon will be up on the map. Concept's actually going to drop a bit of an early ward. See if Tomio is looking to do that one on spawn. Even with Meech's flash coming down, you're seeing him rotate towards that mid lane. DSG high priority on securing this Rift Herald, and with that constant force of the top lane that Fake God has been here on this Renekton, it should be really easy for AOE to be able to pick this up. Concept's been spending so much mana just trying to farm. He's been under his turret the entire time.
You know what? He's on Malphite, which is the losing with dignity champion.
Yeah,
Doesn't
most
really
tanks
matter.
are, I think, right?
Yeah, most tanks are, but Malphite, just having the unstoppable force plays a little more. Like with Ornn, you get countered out by that hostile takeover that we had last game. Can't do that with unstoppable force. As long you pretty much got to react to it. And having that ultimate should be nice for Concept to still have as an impact, even dealing with the CS deficit that Fake God's currently putting onto him. But look at this, Tomio starting up the Rift Herald. Fake God has good priority over there, so will focus bottom.
Breezy just ticked over to level 6, so this could be an easy dive. Remember, no flash from each, only the killer instinct.
Yeah, here comes the dynamic duo, Breezy plus Will underneath the tower. Cyclone gets popped, and so does Meech. One more auto goes through, and it's first blood for Lynx.
It cost 2 flashes, it got a little dicey. That's a successful dive coming through from AOE again. That attention to Lynx from Will has been so big for AOE success overall. And this means Lynx going to deny a good bit of golden XP from Meech. Going to be able to pick up some turret plates as well and get himself a nice little lead.
Lynx feeling good about that one, and here's one of the beautiful things about taking this duo. You get the Lover's Recall as well. So
yes.
Lynx sneaking in a little bit more farm before he gets that, and the Kraken Slayer now finished at 9 minutes.
Wow. I mean, that's really early. On top of it, the longsword coming through here. Of course, Lynx doesn't have the boots, did sacrifice that. Or maybe he had gone for the the magical footwear. Either way, that early legendary item coming through is a big spike. And it does mean that even though Herald was already taken, AOE should be feeling pretty good about their ability to take this first dragon. They're pinging it out right now, and that's what I want to see them go for.
And keep in mind, game number 1, the shield.
Oh,
passive.
the shield!
I've never seen that before. That was actually pretty funny. Oh,
It happens.
goodness.
It happens. You can't
The
interrupt
Concept's just
recalls.
chilling, man.
Yeah. Honestly, personally, Fake God going in to cancel the recall like that and failing, every one of those Renekton autos, they felt a little petty to me. You know, it's like, oh, well, whatever, shield, hell, broken passive, screw Malphite, you know?
Just taking it out on the minions after.
Yeah, exactly. Poor minion.
Tomio, get over here. I'm angry.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, we gotta kill this guy right now. I'm sick of this.
You BM'd me. Hurry. Put down the Rift Herald, and now here we go. Tomio gonna start this off. This tower is not long for this World 1 crash. Should be able to secure it and give a good influx of gold to the top side of DSG. Thank God, still standing strong. We'll have to pop the Dominus to stay up a little bit longer. Concept's still there, and the tower doesn't go down, Beat.
We contributed a lot here. Concept basically used all his spells to try and hold on, but he's recalling now, doesn't want to be here. And, ooh, sorry, Tomio. Couldn't stop the recall.
Tomio, you should have used it faster.
That's right, Fake God. He's upset about it. But Fake God is also super fed, so I think it made up for what happened earlier. All 5 plates. First brick in his pocket, and a Gore Drinker on top of 2 longswords, dual wielding at 11 minutes in the game. Fake God will be a force to be reckoned with here.
Yeah, this early, you're going to see Fake God go to like half health and then back to full off of 1 Dominus Q and the Gore Drinker.
Oh, yeah.
Fake God, even with 0 kills, I mean, he farmed well, got a full turret to himself. So he is going to be a menace. He's going to be that lane bully that we know Renekton to be.
Oh, yeah. And Fake God's still going to be a problem come team fight time. It's going to be a little hard as you're playing into a Azir who has movement, Xayah who has safety with that Featherstorm. So even though he's going to be that constant pressure on the top side, making sure that wave is pushed in and able to move around the map, he will have to find some of these angles to be able to pressure people like Lynx and Darkwings.
Right, off the reset now, AOE returning to the map. They do want to focus down this bottom lane. They're calling Concept down here on top of Will, who both have their ultimates available. So turret to be taken by AOE. DSG, it does look like they want to respond.
I like this call, though, to move Concept down. With that top tier 1 turret gone, you can actually leave that wave for a little bit of extra time. So it opens up this opportunity. They have no idea Malphite is here now.
Suspected now, and Meech already caught up by the knockup.
they
And
got
here
him.
comes Constep, an unstoppable force. Smashes into Lynx and smashes into Meech, and Lynx will get the kill.
And it couldn't be on anyone better. Now Lynx is 2-0. You see the wave stacking up here. That Concept is going to be able to recall and answer right away. I think his back actually got interrupted, though. So it's looking like will be the one who has to answer here. Spake God, you don't want him to actually take the tier 2. This is a little too much.
You know, yeah, this Gator is already kind of just basking in gold at the very moment. Now it does look like Darkwings is just making sure that nothing's going to go awry over here. But Fake God, with this pressure in the side lane oh so early, even with the plays that AOE are making, they have to give respects because Fake God will not stop.
Right, but for the moment, still happy with what you've been able to earn. I will say, it's really important to note, if we look at, perfect timing, if we look at the aggregate gold lead, it seems like a slight lead for AOE, but Lynx is actually miles ahead of Meech right now. That is 1,700 gold between 80 carries, which is nothing to sneeze at. And Concept will still always be useful because of how tanky he will get no matter how far behind he is, and of course, that unstoppable force. So Fake God, whatever play DSG make to his side of the map will be winning, but if AOE take advantage and play away from him, AOE can continue stacking Drakes and finding leads for Lynx.
Shout out to our production staff who kind of read our minds when we need it most. Just overpowered, man. Rally Cry and Monkey Bubble. All the appreciation for them. Yeah, right now, the two top, Lynx and Fake God, where the economy is for both of these squads. And Fake God, a very experienced player. The name seems familiar. Did play on Dignitas for quite some time back in 21, I think the first half of 22. And now, being part of Cloud9 Academy, getting success over there, now trying to transfer that to our first content creator team that we have with DSG, and still looking this good, making a great bid for the fact that LCS should have never gave up on him.
Right, and it's just to your point earlier, where players who, just because they have that LCS experience and their debuts don't really work out for them, doesn't mean they don't actually belong here. And right now, we have a teleport coming through. We got a scrap on the way.
Here we go. Will trying to get forward, but gets caught by the ultimate of Tonio. Finally, Cycle goes through, but there's the Emperor's Divide, and it stops DSG from getting anywhere near the backline of AOE. And like that, two fall by the wayside. AOE take a team fight.
Not only do they take the team fight, they take the Rift Herald as well. Breezy. Okay, has to burn the stopwatch. It's fine. It's all according to plan.
It's just showing them how much money they just made. That's all.
Exactly. It's that reminder, like, hey, you almost killed me.
Now the Rift Herald going to go down. This will open up the Rift quite a bit for Vision for AOE. Has a nice little tempo swing coming through. Darkwings versus Young over the top side. The turret lands onto Darkwings, and that is the damnation that Young capitalizes on.
Yeah, really nice knockback with the Hammer Form E coming through from Young. Gets him that solo Volo and some much needed gold here, but AOE still winning objectives on both sides of the map. Stolen Herald, knocked down the mid-tier 1, and they've gotten halfway to a Dragon's Soul. Ooh. Wow, they're very upset at Will.
Our chase right here, he's gonna go down, no escape. Heal goes to Meech, which is very, very well needed for DSG, but it's still AOE grabbing Dragon.
Yeah, it's still a big gold difference between Lynx and Meech, but every little bit counts, and especially because of the wave he's about to get in. But we're gonna take a look at this Rift Herald fight once more, and even though the Nature's Grasp comes in big, I mean, Will just doesn't miss these, and of course, Concept, yeah, he's behind gold. Who cares? He's still playing Malphite, and he is large and in charge.
Beautiful stuff coming out thus far, and really making this the slobber knocker we were expecting for game number 2. Both of these teams not letting up. But now it is AOE who are currently in the driver's seat. They got the first 2 Drakes of the game. They're able to take 2 turrets thus far, especially opening up the mid lane. That's great for vision control. And with the economy going the way it's going, most of the kills are on Lynx. A lot of the checks marked off the list right now for AOE.
Yeah. I think so. Second item spike for Lynx is huge. That Navori quick blades means Lynx is a force to be reckoned with. And in these next couple of minutes, Meech might be able to catch up, but it's still going to be hard because Lynx will be staying ahead of him as a result. And it means that even though AOE roll a pretty unlucky soul, Dragon is still something they're going to be able to play for.
Right now, spread out, there's not really an objective to go for at the exact moment. So there should be no reason to really look for a fight other than just setting up for whatever turrets you can grab that are left on the outers. And for AOE, that's just going to be a focus over towards this top side. Try and get that top lane tower before any more objectives come out. And it does seem like DSG are kind of sniffing something in this direction. A ward does spot out where Breezy is. Will headed over there. Oh, recall just in time.
Wow, that's tough. Young was by himself, so there was the angle to go for him. But I like that AOE are actually taking this time to use that gold lead. Pressure mid, pressure top, and hopefully on that next wave, they'll be able to knock down the top tier 1 turret. They're fine leaving Fate God alone in the side lane, because again, more time he's away from what AOE wants, all the better, Deserex. And I gotta say too, I really want to talk about why this soul is pretty unlucky for AOE and great for DSG. And it's because, Chem soul sucks. But also, this rift is so good when you're behind, because those empowered scrying orbs, they spawn so often, they do damage to wards, they actually make it really hard for a team to put vision down in the opposing team's jungle. So it's gonna be easier for Zeyzal and Tomio to keep AOE out of their side of the map or have too strong of a presence there.
And that bodes really well considering that that Fog of War can be your enemy. More so when you're on these poke comps, you need to be the one who has the vision control so they don't know where those shots are coming from. So you can catch out players like Lynx, who is pretty ahead right now. In fact, actually, thinking back a little bit, there is a little bit of a matchup I remember from back in the day. It's Lynx and Young. They used to be on AOE, and if I remember correctly, it was back in summer last year, the circuit qualifiers
yes.
where they got 3rd or 4th. So a little bit of a rematch coming through right there. Well, not a rematch, but a little reunion. That's the word.
Yeah, exactly. Like, hey, Young, remember me? Good times. Sorry if I win. You know, vice versa. All that fun stuff. But it is cool. You know, you keep an eye on the NA talent pipeline here in North America. You do end up seeing a lot of familiar names, some new ones as well, which is always exciting. But it is cool to see some of the players who have been around the block a little bit make it to this level for the first time. For people like Lynx, people like Young, finally earning their shot. That's pretty cool to see, even if it's on different teams.
And they had a pretty good performance back last summer. AOE
bad,
was
yeah.
the only organization that brought not just 1, but 2 into the later stages of playoffs. And a lot of the players you see here were part of that, more specifically
AOE
the
Ginger
focus.
Turmeric, baby.
Yeah, AOE Ginger Turmeric. But don't forget AOE Esports proper, the one with Winnie, Young, and Lynx. Because that is what... that is the performance level that we are kind of getting out of Lynx, this next expansion of what he can do for this AOE roster.
Now this AOE roster is going to go ahead and claim their soul point here. DSG, of course, not going to let it go without a fight. Going to throw some poke their way. Powered Scrying Orb will give them that little bit of information, but it's going to be tough. Concept's a beefy boy, and he's going to be able to soak up a lot of this damage.
Starting up the Dragon. Will's the first one to pull it out. A lot of wards placed right now. Hey God currently hanging out over by the mid lane where Meech is. Still waiting for the engage to come through, and it's found by Tomio, who's able to snare up quite a few, but Fake God hops in and has to immediately run out. Still gets a kill. Concept following through. Can't take down the Gator. And now Emperor's Divide comes out for a disengage. They need to get away from DSG. They got the Dragon, but they ain't getting the fight.
No, sir. I will say DSG, they go 1 for 2, and they're going to be able to get this mid-tier 1 turret, but Tomio flashes, but Will secures the Dragon anyway. That will be soul point, and it will be AOE, maintaining their lead slightly. And we're going to see it here. Good damage from Dark Wings, getting Tomio's health nice and low. And you can see it, AOE, they all in on Fake God. All that gold he picked up in the early game certainly paid off in that moment here. But at the end of the day, Dragon did go AoE's way.
Can't believe Fake God survived that one. That's the level of player that he really is, because he not only survived it, he killed Breezy on his way
But
out.
also, look at his goal. He's got the same as Dark Wings. There's a bit of a factor there. You have the Black Cleaver, you have the Gore Drinker. Remember what you said, Empowered Q, Gore Drinker, lots of healing. You know,
Still incredible, though.
it's still incredible.
Yeah.
I'll still give him a high five.
It baits concept to chase you through with the Unstoppable Force.
That's
which,
kind of
if you're
based that he
using it-
tried. I'm going to be real.
Yeah. If you're using it on Fake God, that's already a misuse of it. That already shows desperation trying to
True.
come out at the tail end of that team fight.
True. Based, but also a little misplaced, you know, if you know what I mean. Concept, could have used that ult on other targets, but it happens. Right now, though, AoE, there's this constant in the North American scene, the NA RAM. Everybody is trying to focus up control on this mid lane. Get prio and ignore all side lanes.
AoE.
Young's
They
in trouble,
have-
actually.
They have that Azir turret. They're able to apply a lot of
is
pressure
dead.
into the mid lane, and they'll transfer that right over to the top side where they spot Young by his lonesome. Young still has flash, trying to get away from the onslaught, but AoE are here, and they claim the mid laner of DSG.
Whoa, Eric, hold on. You know what time it is?
What time is it?
It's Baron time. You get a nice pickoff onto Young. You could go ahead and start this baby up right now, and you can see it. They're walking up. They've hit it, but they're not actually doing it. That's kind of lame.
Looking for that Baron o'clock on the watch. Hey, look down. Look at your wrist. It's right there. It says it. Nope, they're walking away. They didn't notice.
They're not wearing their watches. That's the problem here,
they had
Eric.
headphones in. That's what
Yeah.
it is.
Oh, damn it. They're wearing AirPods. Oh well. It is what it is.
I
AoE
would
is
have
still
liked to
very
see it
happy.
too. You have Unstoppable Force on concept. Like,
I
it's
hate-
a good team fight.
You're preaching to the choir, man. I'm with you, Eric. But AoE, they lost game one after a pretty big misstep during an objective fight. Maybe this is them tempering themselves after what happened in the first match. So, I'll respect that. I'll give them that one as a good call. And they have a good bit of gold to spend as well. Their real focus is the Dragon Soul in 2 minutes' time.
Yeah.
And I will slightly amend what I said before, Eric. It is that Chemtech Soul sucks, except for concept. Because that damage reduction on someone who's already going to be hella tanky, that just sounds infuriating to deal with.
We'll see if that soul actually gets picked up. It's a minute
400
30,
armor.
so...
Look at him.
Woo, he is one tanky boy. And he's taking a recall
Yeah.
right now. See what we got on the purchase.
Surely it's the... Yeah, there it is.
Oh,
Jack Show. Good
not Baron
purchase.
o'clock. It's the Jack Show.
True. Now things are really slow. Big deal for AoE to be able to split this series. Even though they lost game one, the fact that they kept it competitive for as long as they did and came back after misstepping really speaks to the development that we've seen from them these last couple of weeks. Since that first round robin, it does seem like this roster is starting to gel a little bit more, and it is good to see. In concept, a player I've been very critical of has actually looked good this past weekend in particular on both his signature tank type champions and even the more aggressive picks like the Renekton. So it is a good look from AoE in this early game, and they look like they're in a position to be able to take this. If they close this one out against a team like DSG, that's a great look.
AoE are heads and shoulders where they were, ahead of where they were from back in week one. I think if you look at the rankings right now, it doesn't really show the true story of AoE. You got to watch their games like these to see how they are really trying to stonewall some of these better teams in the league. You know, for better or for worse, the results do come, but at the end of the day, it's still good performances that we're getting from AoE and more consistent performances out of the squad. But now they got to perform more than ever because we have a Baron dance on our hands, Pete.
Right, they're ignoring the Dragon Soul because this big purple worm is calling their name. But the hesitation here, they're starting the Baron, they're stopping it, and they're just trying to clear vision. Maybe seeing if Breezy can get a bit of an angle. It is true, they have poke, and now Fake God, he's playing a little bit of interference here. Oh, wait a minute.
Bot lane looking for an engage onto Fake God. He can get the Blade Caller right after, even with the Dominus going through. The chase is secured. Lynx will grab the kill, brings in the Blade Caller. Young looks to go forward. Tomio still trying to stop Concept from getting in. Unstoppable Force finds it on the marksman, but Lynx is slain, and so is Breezy. 2 remain for AOE, but they're low on health. They're low on time. A triple kill for Meech, and with an Emperor's Divine coming out, it's been a quadra kill now picked up for Meech.
And this is a big deal. This was a great pick coming through from AOE, but once they get Fake God, the problem ends up being Lynx holds on to that ultimate just a little bit too long here. Look how much damage he takes once he pops it. It's the 1 turret shot, 2nd turret shot, and it's the power slam coming through from Young. And since Meech lands the W, he says, oh yeah, we're going through with this. And because no one is able to touch him, because he keeps getting resets on those evolved Void Seekers, he's able to just keep the damage coming.
Emperor's Divide, but it's too late. The Twisted Advanced has rooted you down. That is the Turo Baron buff picked up by DSG. That AOE, they're realizing this dragon just got a bit harder. Now Concept being in the wrong spot might have to burn his flash to get out of this location. He'll still hold steady, walk on out, but lose about 1/3 of his health.
Still, they want to go ahead and start the Drake here on AOE. Soul would be nice for them at this point, considering how much damage they're taking from Meech. His AP build is going crazy, but watch Will. He's big on the engages, 4 of them before. He's looking again.
Here comes Will. Cyclone use it, lands onto Fake God. Isolated, it's going to be Tomio. They should be able to take him down. Gets a heal, but Darkwings follows through with the Sand Soldiers. And here comes Lynx. He's able to pick up a kill. DSG down 2 members.
This is big. Meech is still up. He still has the killer instinct, the flash. So much poke is available. Concept, though, he's low health, but he has the unstoppable force, the empowered blast code. They want a little more.
Here he is. Meech flashes out of the unstoppable force. Concept able to back out, but Meech gives him a parting gift.
He does. It was tough, but it is still a 2-for-1 in AOE's favor. They remove a Baron buff, they collect their Dragon Soul, and they pick up a much-needed injection of gold here. Limit the lead that DSG have.
This is an insane game, beat. Both of these teams, man, fight forever. Let's just have 3 best of 2s of just AOE versus DSG if they're gonna keep bringing bangers like this.
It has been an exciting one here. And now we're at a point where this game is likely going to be decided at the Elder. These team fights going so close, going one way then the other, sometimes nobody falling. Means that in 5 minutes, the be-all, end-all of Summoner's Rift is coming, and it is the Elder Drake. AOE, they may have gotten the soul, but if they lose that buff to DSG, they will be able to close things out.
AOE is starting to set up into the mid lane. They'll send Concept over into the side lane. Darkwings now finishing that Rabadon's death cap as well. So a lot of good tools now coming online for AOE at the same time that they have this Dragon Soul that you were mentioning earlier. Thing is, Tomio's not shy to engage in the name of DSG, and you do have to watch out for Lynx. Big thing here for Lynx is he does have both summoners up, so he's going to be that much harder to catch out. DSG have to play this carefully because it seems like it's slipping ever more into the hands of AOE. Still with that goal lead, still with that poke. DSG posture forward.
Yeah, so the last little bit of that Turo Baron buff is coming through here for AOE. And they're going to use that poke, use that pressure they have with their lead to be able to knock down another structure. Still, AOE, they're not in the worst of positions here. It's still going to come down to who's going to be able to get the damage done and who's going to be able to threaten the backlines of the opposing team. Concept in particular, I'm watching to see how close he gets to his next item in these next few minutes because he's got a lot of armor, but he's only now really stacking the magic resist. He gets Force of Nature, then at that point, he can eat a poke from literally anybody. Meets his AP build, doesn't matter. Young, Tomio, any poke that they offer from range isn't going to matter to Concept anymore, and it's going to make stepping up to these objectives so much easier for AOE.
Losing with dignity. Concept has pulled it off.
He sure has.
Yeah. He is that big tank, but still the big poke coming out from Meech does land onto Breezy. I mean, the missiles, don't do much to concept, but if you find them on any other member, it's really, really nice for Meech here. Now AOE are posturing up over towards this top lane. They have all 5 members over here. Breezy's the only one who's missing a bit of health. DSG really trying to utilize this poke. They got Meech on one end. Young able to get the shock blast through. Power getting lower and lower. A few more autos should be able to take this down, but this poke is really starting to do some work now. One more auto to find that tower. Tomio goes forward. Sand Soldiers with the Emperor's Divide of Dark Wings to try and disengage this fight. Will and Breezy now going to be on the run. Ooh, the Emperor's turret now going to go up. Will in a bad spot to be. Going to use the blast plant to be able to make more distance. And like that, AOE, they only sacrifice one to get the turret, but they lose concept.
That's tough. Concept, not really sure that ultimate was it. You're not going to lose out on any objectives, but you have the map in a really good position as AOE, and in one swoop, they lose all the pressure that they potentially had. And you're seeing it now. Breezy in a little bit of trouble, is forced to blow the ult. The teleport even comes out as well. So Concept is going to be the one on split push duty when it comes to getting waves pushed out before major objectives come through.
Tough game right now. 3K in the lead is DSG. But with the way AOE are posturing, it doesn't really feel like it's anyone's game. Like it's DSG's game. It feels like it's anyone's game at this point. Death timers are going to get longer and longer. Are we going to meet that 41-minute mark that we had in game number 1? It almost seems like we're on track.
Yeah, well, with Elder coming up in about a minute 30, maybe not. That's going to be a big deciding fact, but I like this from AOE. They want to go and threaten the Baron right away. They pick that up, they get those empowered recalls immediately and spend that gold. That could be the perfect position for them to be able to set up for the Elder, but they are getting poked out so hard. Meech does not miss these Void Seekers, and he is chunking out members of AOE as a result. Will has to use Jungle Privilege to heal up. Breezy doesn't have any of that, unfortunately. So they do need to be so very careful, and they need to make a decision right now, because the more time they waste, the sooner Elder comes up.
The AOE trying to get away from that poke. It's a Void Seeker that's empowered by the Ludens, as well as a Void Staff. Tomio opts the ultimate. Concept's getting low, man, and this is an unfair fight started up, but can AOE pull it fast enough? Emperor's Divide comes out and stops Young from going after Dark Wings. 5 still strong as AOE, but they don't have the health to maintain this fight. Blade Caller finds the root coming through. Now able to put out the Feather Storm, but Blade Caller still on cooldown, waiting for that recall. Oh, not gonna find it. Concept gets caught out and dropped by the hammer of Young.
Oh, that's bad. He needed to look for the teleport. Thought he could make it out for the recall, and this is it, man. 10 seconds till the Elder Drake. Concept is gone for 40 seconds. The fact that he held his TP doesn't matter, Deserex. Lynx had to ult to save his life in that last fight, too. And AOE, it's decision time. Do you let this one go and hope you can hold out for a couple minutes, or are you going to risk it all and get the game-winning buff?
And this is so nice for DSG. They have control so far, at least of that Scuttle Crab, which is going to give vision right over for a lot of these poke champions to chip away at AOE. Concept will be up quite soon, does have teleport if he needs to get there
coming back from base.
Quick hurry. Tomio will not be there in time. This is going to be Smileless coming through. It's Will who secures it. Elder Drake goes to AOE, and DSG, they might have just made a critical mistake. Young goes in, but claims no one. Double kill for Dark Wings.
Oh, it is looking close. Meech, he's looking for something. Those Void Seekers keep landing, but AOE, they take advantage of the fact that Tomio was gone. And because of that, they end up getting the game-winning buff. Now, recall, spend your gold, get back on the map immediately, and start knocking on the base of DSG, because for the next 2 minutes, they are so powerful.
Can AOE do it? Trying to take the win against AOE. They gotta out-engage him, and right now, having that Elder is gonna feel so good. Let's take a look at how they got it. No smite for DSG.
It's just that easy, and despite Fake God's best attempts, that Elder buff going through does mean that he will instantly explode. And Young, with a valiant effort, same story, same ending. And now you see what it's gotten them in the picture-in-picture. They're going to immediately start the Baron. There was no way DSG can do anything about this. And this is much-needed gold and the perfect way to start breaking down DSG's base.
That was such a questionable move out of DSG. I know they were trying to delay it to get Tomio there, but AOE were the wiser to it, and now they not only have the Elder buff, they have the Turo Baron buff as well as they march down the mid lane.
Basically one shot the mid-tier 2 turret. The inhibitor is certainly going to go down. We got about a minute on this Elder buff, and AOE, it's decision time. Are you going to push for the end? You have all your ults, all your utility, and you got a wave. They're going for broke, Eric.
Two teams with momentum on their side. Now meeting in a crossroads. It's AOE looking to swing back after that defeat from game 1 against DSG, and they're knocking at the door. They're inside the house, and they're looking to evict DSG from the place as they clear minion waves.
There's only 20 seconds on the Elder buff. AOE, you have to go in right now. You can't just whittle away at structures.
It's melted. Tomio's too low. Meech has to flash out. They jump right onto Meech. Meech able to use the killer instinct, looks to find Will, but another Nexus Tower falls, and AOE, they've done it. They go for gold, and they find the game 2 win against Disguised.
Almost a second 40-minute game, and AOE took it down to the Elder Drake, but they do manage to close things out in the end. They were decisive, they were divisive, and they got themselves a split series with DSG. It looks like their trend continues.
And somehow, some way, they managed to break DSG, and it was all around that decisive call around Elder. I want to throw out right there, 5 members strong, they just go for it, even with 4 of DSG trying to posture up and stop them. It's not happening if you don't have the smite, and from there, AOE were able to just run away with that game. Ooh, even with all that poke damage coming through, it doesn't mean that much if it doesn't result in those kills, and a great play coming out from AOE B.
Incredible stuff. I mean, AOE, both games came down to the wire, got settled in one team fight. And this game, too, it ended up going AOE's way. The crucial thing, took advantage of Tomio's absence and were able to just burst down the Elder Drake. And at that point, it was their game to lose, and they definitely didn't lose.
A tied series coming through. AOE able to take that second game and show that momentum is still on their side. We're going to take a moment to throw it over to short break. When we return, we'll have the Verizon post-game interview with Lennon and one of the winners of AOE Gold.
Welcome back to our Verizon post-game interview. I am joined by none other than Dark Wings from AOE Gold. After a pop-off Azir performance, my man, your Azir's looking as good as ever. Did you have any approaches coming into this series, especially against Young? And do you feel like you executed it?
Thank you. Coming into this series against Young, I mean, he's a good player, so I mean, definitely top 3. Maybe, yeah, but I think I put myself up there as well, and I think, you know, just, I mean, I didn't really have any specific preparation for him, just, yeah, pick me my champs and we'll do good.
Pick the Azir, and you just apparently lord all over them. It was really cool. Did you have any favorite Azir moments from that last game?
Definitely at the very end frame where I think I was almost about to get a pentakill. Yeah. But yeah.
Oh, so
we're so focused on ending the game, so yeah, that's understandable.
You guys knew where the goal was at. But I will say the split series trend continues. Do you have any thoughts on it? Is it a curse? Is it a blessing? What do you feel?
Definitely, like, I think it's getting better for us for sure. I think next few weeks we'll definitely get some more 2-0s. Most of it is like the small stuff. Now that like a lot of the teams are pretty close in strength, it's all about like the small micro stuff.
Speaking of some of the micro stuff, but also maybe some of the macro, you guys' flexibility has been really interesting to watch, especially through draft, your champion pools. Do you feel like it's a big strength of you guys?
Definitely, like, to have these like draft tools are always an advantage. Mostly like comfort picks and stuff like that, like, help out a lot. Yeah.
Do you know what everybody's comfort champions are? Are you like, yeah, I know if he has to pick that one, he's picking that one?
Like
You
kind
don't have
of.
to tell me them. You don't just
Yeah,
do you know
I think
them? Do you know their
against
go-tos?
against TL, I kind of forgot some of them, so it's unfortunate.
Oh, no. Well, you gotta learn. You gotta keep it in your mind. But I do want to ask you. Do you have any thoughts on the rest of the split, especially going into the second round robin? Are there any teams that you're kind of excited to face? Any mid lane matchups you're excited for?
I think it doesn't matter who we play against, but I think we're gonna do better and better.
Hey, all right. Well, I do want to ask you a little bit more about your memory here. What has been your favorite memory as this team has come together for AOE Gold, either inside, outside of game?
Well, one of my favorite memories, I can't really go too in depth, but it was me, Will, and Michael. We were eating out and we had lots of laughs. It was very fun.
Oh, that's awesome to hear. I was gonna say, do you guys do a lot of stuff outside of game to kind of keep the morale together and any fun stuff?
Like here and there occasionally, not too much. Just because we're just doing our thing. Yeah.
Grinding league and getting better and better. I like it. Do you guys have any plans for 4th of July? Is AOE doing anything? You guys having a barbecue?
No, but I was considering buying some steaks, cooking it up, see how it goes.
I got to ask this weekend a couple times. What's your go-to barbecue food?
We're talking about American barbecue.
Yeah.
American,
They're like a classic 4th of July, like outside barbecue.
It's like, I mean, steaks are always good. It's like, yeah.
How do you like your steak cooked? As a man from Texas, I always have to ask.
It's medium rare.
There we go.
Sure.
I like to hear it. All right. You're fine by my book, Dark Rings. I do want to give you a chance to give some shout outs here, though. Anybody you want to talk about before I let you go?
Shout out to my brother, his girlfriend, my girlfriend, all at home watching. Yeah, they're so great. And also to my teammates who are like we're doing really well now.
Hey, it's always an absolute pleasure to talk to you, Dark Wings. All the love, man, and go enjoy a little bit of time as you did come away with a nice 1-1 here, all right?
Thank you.
Alrighty. We're going to go ahead and take it away and send it to a little break here while we get ready for our final series of the day. It's Fear versus Fly. You don't want to miss it.
The LCS Challengers League is brought to you by Turo, the world's largest car sharing marketplace. Find your drive.